Good morning, everybody. We're back live in the studio, and you just heard the introduction, so you know pretty much what we're here for. But I'll tell you again anyway, buying a car from a car dealer, which is about the only place you can buy a car, a new car for that matter, is a frightening experience. It's annoying. It is considered about the least pleasurable retail business in the world. I started to say the United States, but I think the entire world, for some reason, has taken on the culture of the American automobile retail system. If you've been through it before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't been through it before, Google Gallup annual poll on honesty in professions. Gallup, that's a big number one survey organization, among other things. But Gallup has this poll, been doing it for 50 years, and you'll see all the professions and all the businesses ranked according to honesty, ethics, and transparency. And out of all those, 50 some odd car dealers are on the bottom. They've been on the bottom for 50 years. So we feel this show is important. And my wife Nancy and I, we started this show a long time ago, about 20 years. It was only a half an hour show then. And we've grown, even changed radio stations, and now we're 2 hours instead of a half an hour. And it's a highly rated show, by the way. We keep trying to make it better. I have Rick Kearney here in the studio with us, and Rick is a certified diagnostic master technician. And he's in school half the time because the technology is accelerating so fast that if you don't take a test and keep yourself up to date, you're behind the times. The new model cars that are coming out now, every one of them is a puzzle. Manufacturers are building them faster so they can build them right, and you need good technicians to do that. So if you want to talk to Nancy, if you're a woman, you should talk to her because Nancy's reputation as a female advocate is extremely well known. And she is single-handedly been responsible for bringing this show from the cellar all the way up to the stratosphere. We have women calling. We have parity. Last couple of weeks, we've been right there. Women callers are intelligent. They are very articulate. And Nancy Stewart even has an incentive. I won't tell you what it is, but I'll tell you. Nancy will tell you as soon as she gets on the microphone. Now, you're going to be hearing these numbers until you're tired of them, especially if you listen to a lot of the show. There's probably a few people that listen for the whole 2 hours or maybe an hour, so it gets redundant. So if you're one of those, go out the kitchen and get yourself a glass of orange juice or a cup of coffee. But I'm going to give these numbers out again because a lot of people are just tuning in and say, what the hell is this? A car dealer telling us how not to be ripped off by a car dealer? I got to hear that. So if you're one of those, our telephone number is 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. I ask you to write it down. If you can grab a pencil and a pad, write it down, and when you're ready for a question, you call us back. You probably don't have one now, but if you do, if you call that 877-960-9960, Nancy is sitting just to my left. She's monitoring the calls because the call is the most important way to communicate to the show. 877-960-9960. But if you're timid, like a lot of people are timid, we got something for you too. We've got Facebook, facebook.com/Earl and Cars. Rick Kearney, who's our certified diagnostic master technician, also monitors the YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Earl and Cars. We're also on Facebook. So you make a post on Facebook, you make a post on YouTube, and it's just like almost like calling in. We have a very special link. It's a website that you go to, and then you can communicate with us totally anonymously. I mean, you can't get through an hour of media today when there's not somebody complaining about invasion of privacy. And it's become a huge issue. It's separated the entire country in a lot of ways. I mean, the issue of privacy versus freedom of speech, and so on and so forth. But so if you want to say something that you just want to be totally quiet. You don't want people to know you said it. We have an anonymous feedback line, Wink, and that's youranonymousfeedback.com. YOURANONYMOUS feedback.com. Youranonymousfeedback.com. Now, my son Stu monitors those on his smartphone when he's here. He'll be here shortly. He's been a little late this morning. And another way to get hold of us, you regulars, please bear with me. I apologize because I know I've given a lot of numbers that you already know. We have a text number. The text number is 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. The cool thing about the text is that we can save them. You know, we could get a text right this minute, but we don't read the text for 15 minutes or maybe an hour. But we will get to those texts before the show is over. And it's a nice fill-in for us sometimes when the phones are too quiet. And it's a great thing for you if you got mic fright. I mean, I can't believe that I'm sitting here in front of a live microphone, and all my words, if I say something really stupid, which I've been known to do, 20, 30, 40,000 people here. So you have to kind of get over that. And it's fun. And then if that isn't enough, I say something stupid, I've got anonymous feedback that can tell me what they think of me, and I can't come to your house and get you. So I really wish you would participate. I say this all the time: your calls, your texts, your anonymous feedback make the show. Now I'm going to turn the mic over to Nancy Stewart, and she is, as I say, the female advocate. All you ladies out there, listen up. Nancy's got some great information for you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Real quick, I'll mention to you that we're excited to offer a special promotion just for the female listeners. The first two new lady callers, you can win yourself $50, and you have until, I'm going to say 9:30 to give a call in and say hello or get some advice or offer us some advice. Number is 877-960-9960. I'm sure that a lot of the ladies that have leasing on their mind, servicing, purchasing a vehicle would be, well, happy to get some advice from all of us here at Earl on Cars. Again, that number is 877-960-9960. We're going to go right to the phones and thank Tom for hanging on as long as he did. Good morning, Tom.
Oh, hi, Nancy. This is Lynn, the wife. I was just
Pardon me?
away for a minute. Hi, this is Lynn, Tom's wife. Here's Tom.
Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Nancy. How are you?
I'm well.
I had just an unbelievable situation, and I knew Earl would be the one to talk to here. On Wednesday, my wife and I have two GLK Mercedes, and same year, same color and everything. It's just kind of ironical. But I went into the Main Street car wash. And I haven't gone there in a long time, but I felt like having my wife's car done completely because we have three little dogs that we take in it. And anyways, I drive into the car wash. I stop. I get out of the car, and the car is running, and I have it in park. And it's where the vacuum section is. And the guy was very nice. I told him what I wanted. And he goes, fine, and I go in to pay. I'm in there, and all of a sudden I hear all the machinery stop. Oh. And then this kid comes walking over, and he knows me, and there's three people there, and he goes, do you own the silver Mercedes?
Uh-oh.
I said, well, of course I own the silver Mercedes. And he goes, well, your emergency brake, you broke your emergency brake. I've never used my emergency brake. So what happened was, he says, you better come look at this. And I go over, and the car is on the track.
Oh,
It stopped. And the owner's right there, and he had these two little Haitian kids. I think one of them might have, whoever drove it from the vacuum section to where you go on the ramp to get it done, they jammed the emergency brake so far to the floor that it not only wouldn't release, I had to have it at my mechanic's for 3 days.
Wow.
And the first thing this idiot that owns that place said to me is, I've never in 37 years touched the emergency brake. I said, what are you talking about? He goes, you must have done it. I said, now, wait a minute. He goes, I said, how did it get from the vacuum section to this ramp? And he goes, I said, which one of you drove it here? And none of them would admit. I said, well, whoever did it, that's what happened. And he and I got in a, I'm an Irishman from up north. And let me tell you something. I don't take crap from anyone. I'm 72, I laid into him. And I said, I'm going to sue you. You have a chance to fix this. Luckily for me, my mechanic is basically right around the corner. He goes, how did you drive this here? I said, I was in a stage where I was going to have a heart attack. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, he went over there.
Tom, thanks for sharing that with us, Tom. It brings up a subject that I talk about a lot, and it's an organization is only as strong as its weakest link. Main Street Car Wash might be the best car wash in Florida in terms of pricing and transparency and honesty and how clean they make your car. But they have a lot of people working there that are the weak links, and I have weak links in my organization, and it proves to the dealers that are listening to the show and any business owner, you might be the sharpest tack in the box, you might be the nicest guy, you might have the best intentions for your business, but all it takes is one guy that jams your emergency brake to the floor and does something stupid. And then when they're that stupid, they deny it, and then it becomes a matter of contention. So, no, that is a horror story, and I'm sorry it happened, but don't think of Main Street Car Wash as being the bad guys. You could critique them for not doing a careful job of screening, but washing their car is not rocket science. So typically, if someone wants to do the job and he wants to work hard, he gets the job. That doesn't mean that he's smart enough not to jam the emergency brake down. So, Tom, thanks very much for that call.
Hey, Tom, it's Nancy. Tom, what finally happened? Did someone, admit the wrongdoing, was there no satisfaction, and now you're looking for legal help?
Oh yeah, I need a legal. So what happens is, I said to him, look, you obviously whoever drove it from the vacuum area to there obviously hit the emergency brake. But the owner of that place looked at me and he goes, 37 years, I've never done it. I said, I didn't say you did it. He goes, I'm not taking responsibility for any of this. And I said, well, it's $750 later. He's gonna. I don't care if I have to hire a lawyer and lose money on it, but $750 or so. So.
Well,
anyway,
at least you had satisfaction because he refused to fix it, which means he's a real ass, because that's not good business, but he does own the company. But I'd say 25 or 30,000 people, a lot of them in South Florida, are listening to this radio show, and we're talking about Main Street Car Wash. Now, would it have been cheaper for him to pay to repair your car or to tell you to go jump in the lake and have you call on the radio? How much business is that going to cost Main Street Car Wash?
Well, he deserves what he gets as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I
not
know.
only that, if you look at the write-ups on this place in Google, you'll see that they've had a lot of problems. Plus the quality of the car wash is completely down. They don't even do the tires now. So, I mean, I'm just calling up because I don't want someone else to have to fall into.
Well, I hate to be critical of a caller, but if you knew this was a bad car wash based on the reviews, why did you take your car in there?
Well, I didn't read the reviews till after.
Oh, another message for the main part of the audience. Read the reviews on the car dealership that you're going into.
Yeah.
Tom, Thanks so
Yeah.
much for sharing your story with us. On a more personal note, I can share with you that something similar happened to me where my vehicle, and at the time I was driving my father's Cadillac, and back in those days, that Cadillac meant a lot to him. And I was at a restaurant, and so I had to valet, and they had taken the gear shift and jammed it into park, and they knew what they did, and I didn't until I got into the vehicle and I could not shift the gears. So I can understand your frustration. Tom, please give us a call back and let us know the outcome of your dilemma.
Yeah, well, I already take the car. I already had to pay to take the car up, and now I just have to take legal action. I'm not sure what legal action how I should approach it. We've already called the business bureau, but could I put you back on to my wife, Lynn? I have someone here at the door. Hold on.
Okay, it's Lynn from Boynton.
Oh, good morning, Lynn.
Good morning. I know this is a terrible thing, and you know, we've been going to this car wash for 15 years, so we know the people. It was just an unfortunate thing but they should admit it.
Absolutely.
And
Lynn, are you a first-time caller this morning?
No, I'm not Nancy. I have called many times.
Very good. I can't keep a list of everyone, female callers.
I know, but you guys do great, and
Thank
we'll
you.
let you go on with your day. But we wanted to be the first callers.
You,
Well, congratulations. You beat everybody.
Thank you. Yay. All right. Thank you so
Have a
much for
great
your show.
weekend.
Appreciate all of you.
Thank you. We're going to go to, I think we'll go to Palm Beach Gardens. We'll talk to Dawn. Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning. I just wanted to let you know that I got my Cybertruck about 5 weeks ago.
Oh, good for you.
I'm jealous. I don't even know where mine is. I ordered it about a year ago, and I get no information. I hope they didn't sell it out from under me.
And I'm, Dawn, I'm personally looking for that Cybertruck because Earl and I are at this point fighting over the Tesla.
You'll love it because I can't. I was involved kind of like when you got your plaid that Sunday. That I don't know if you remember me. I also had that van you helped me get back through a lemon law. It had the bump chuggle fish bite. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, anyway, I got the Cybertruck, and I got 2,500 miles on it in the last month. This thing is an absolute engineering marvel, and it's fully functional. I can't say enough about it.
How does it fit in your garage?
It's fine. I just have a standard garage door.
The reason I ask is there was a story in Automotive News about a Cybertruck owner who just received a Cybertruck, and he it wouldn't fit in the garage. So he took it back to Tesla and said, I can't use this because I can't put it in my garage, and I'm in an area where I have to keep my car in the garage. Well, not only wouldn't they give him his money back, they told him, and this is a fact, the conditions when you bought that Cybertruck said you can't sell it to anyone else for a year. And there's some fine involved if you do. So that's one nightmare on the Cybertruck. I hope they didn't sell mine out from under me.
You won't want to sell it, I can tell you that. I mean, it's like going from an early model Beetle Volkswagen to your Plaid, and going from the Plaid to this Cybertruck.
Yeah.
You just don't want to quit driving it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Hey, Dawn, how's the comfort as far as your driver's seat and the passenger seat?
I've owned Escalades and Navigators, and this thing is equivalent to all of them. And you can go down the road at 75, 80. You can't hear any road noise.
Wow.
It just floats on the road.
So your seating is more comfortable than any other vehicle that you've owned?
Yeah. I can't say enough about it. In the back seat, you can put 3 big guys there. They also fold up. You can use it for storage. I hauled a sheet of plywood flat on the bed, so it's fully 4 foot wide. It's just a functional truck, and I don't know why you need it in the garage. You can't hurt the damn thing.
You didn't get the Beast, did you? That's the top of the line model, the one that's 174,000.
No, I just got the entry model one. They added 20,000 to it for the foundation
Yeah.
thing, but that's it's 80,000, but the 100 included full service drive and all that. But I don't have that yet. They're not going to download that until about 3 weeks. We'll have it.
Well,
Don,
thanks.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks, Don.
Yeah.
We're looking
You
forward.
you want to go for a ride and want to drive it? Call me.
Oh,
I appreciate the offer.
thank you. Appreciate
I'll
it.
bring it over to your dealership.
Who are you addressing just now, Don? Are you looking for?
Either one of you.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. We're looking forward to that Cybertruck. Earl, more than I.
Yeah.
Rick?
Well, I think you get it sooner than you think because a lot of people are backing off them because back when they ordered them, interest was 2% and $100 deposit. So,
Don, we got to run. We got callers stacked
all
up here, but thanks very much for that offer. We just might take you
Yeah,
up on
thanks,
that.
Don. Stay in touch. Rick?
Just wanted to mention that Donovan says the Cybertruck is slightly shorter than a standard F-150, but what's happening is builders are actually making the garages smaller, and that's where you're seeing this conflict.
Oh, I see.
So you'll want to check your own garage, and if you can get the specs on what the Cybertruck and the F-150 are, you may be in like Flynn.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Our number here is 877-960-9960, and you can also text us if you so choose at 772-497-6530. Your anonymous feedback is pretty important, and we love hearing from you. So take advantage of your anonymous feedback.com. We have a lot to get to in the Consumer Report. There's just so much interesting information in the road report and also on leasing and versus purchasing. And you're going to be, you're going to be very surprised when I share that information. So stay with us. Ladies, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. We're going to go back to the phones and we're going to talk to Trish. And Trisha is from Boca, and she's a regular caller now. Good morning, Trisha.
Good morning, and I'm so glad you're feeling better. I know Earl's 2 weeks ago you were sick, and Earl was giving you his chicken soup, so I'm glad it worked.
Actually, it was Whole Foods chicken soup. Mom's, they call it.
Well, I'm glad it worked. And when I spoke to you 2 weeks ago about, my tire wearing out fast, you told me to call the following week, have it checked out, call the following week, but I guess you were off last Saturday. Oh, my God. So I'm calling again, and you're not going to believe this information. Earl, you told me to check it out, and I wanted to see if there was anything else causing the premature wearing out of my tires. Okay?
Right.
So I got my new tires, my Michelin's at Tire Kingdom, which is now Mavis. They inspected my car. They told me I needed a control arm with ball, it says on here, a complete strut assembly, and sway bar link for a grand total of $1,500 and a discount to $1,300. Okay. Would that sound about right, Rick?
Price-wise, yes, that's about correct for that.
Okay. All right. Well, the second part of this is you're going to probably need to do a show on badass repair shops. I guess that's another show, right? Other than dealerships, because then I took my car to my friend who lives there on the other side of town with 45 years of experience. He's got a very small shop. He works by himself. He's the only guy I trust. So I said, look, please check out my car. Tell me what I need. This is what I got from Mavis. He put my car up on the lift. And guess what?
What?
Nothing. I need nothing.
Oh, boy.
He said, nothing's wrong with my car. This is corporate BS just to try to get your money.
Well, that is a great story because we talk about this on the show all the time. It happens all too frequently that people take their cars in and they forget that the guy they're talking to is not really a serviceman. He's in the service department, but what he is, he's a very highly paid commission salesman. And if you get a highly commissioned salesman that sees a ripe target and might have even thought the less of you because he's used to seeing women don't know much about cars, and they try to take advantage of you. I mean, it's not uncommon. Women, Nancy told me about this. She was doing some research the other day, and women spend more in the service departments of the world, or at least the United States, than men do. So I think that you were seen as a target, but you were too smart, and you went out and you got the competitive quote and put them in their place.
I don't know how to put him in place, but the only thing my friend told me of 45 years experience, he did say, just it's your alignment. He says that's your major problem. You've got to really keep your alignment in gear. Do you guys agree with that? That's what's premature wearing out my car is my alignment.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right, really.
Yeah, alignments are very important, and I think you should, if you get your alignment checked, it should be free wherever you have it done. So, if I were you, I would get a free alignment check every 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, it's so easy. Everywhere Nancy and I go, one of us hits a pothole or something that can knock that car out of a line. So you should get it checked regularly, and they should not charge you for it.
Yeah, and where is that? Because I don't know any place that gives you a free alignment check.
Well, you can. We don't. Earl Stewart Toyota in North Palm Beach doesn't charge, but you'd be surprised there are a lot of stores that do not charge. So with that said, if you go into a store and say, yeah, we'll check your alignment free, also be sure to ask for the computer printout or actually see the machine, and that will say in black and white if you do or don't need a machine an alignment. But yeah, most people do. Does the man you went to, does he have an alignment machine?
No, of course I would have used him. That's the only thing. Of course I would have checked with him.
Yeah.
No, that's the one thing he doesn't have is an alignment. But he told me, Earl, you could fudge an alignment report. These guys know how to fudge these reports.
No, that's simple.
So it make it look like you need an alignment when you don't.
Yep.
You agree?
Well, it's possible to do. Then that's why you have to, that's the character and of the shop that you're dealing with. You have to. Would they do something that easily and grossly dishonest? They could also.
Well, obviously, this shop,
Tricia.
Yeah.
How long have you been going to this mechanic?
The good one, Dino, of 45 years, or the new one at Tire Kingdom?
Well, whomever found your problem about the alignment.
That Dino, well, he says that's going to be the major cause of my tires wearing out prematurely. He says there's nothing wrong with my control arm, my struts, or my sway bar. It's only my alignment. He doesn't have an alignment machine. Of course, I would go to him.
I see. I have to commend you again, and there's a lot of ladies that are listening on not only your confidence, but your knowledge. And I so appreciate you sharing that with the audience on Saturday mornings when you get a chance. I think that everyone has added their 2 cents to this dilemma. Does guys, anybody have anything else to say? We're going to hang up because we've got people waiting.
Thank you, Tricia. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tricia. Give us a call again, please. Let's go to First, let me remind the ladies that they can win themselves $50 this morning. First two new lady callers, give us a call. You have $50. I'll write that check out and mail it to you. And Jeremy is all ready to take your information, contact information. We are going to go to the Roadrunner. Roadrunner Steve, what I meant to say, from Boynton. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I did something on Memorial Day. I got to fly in the Huey helicopter over the National Cemetery on 441. It was a great experience.
Wow. How did you do that?
Well, my friend's neighbor owns a Huey right there on 441. They have their own grass landing strip and everything. Plus, I go to car shows with them. So it was great. I've never been in one, and I always wanted to know what it was like to be in one.
Oh, that's great.
At that time, I had to watch the draft on TV. Okay, the other thing was I was up at the Den of Thieves on Lake Worth Road the other day with my friend. So I look at the cars up there. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Napleton?
No, the Nissan.
Oh, okay.
Nissan dealership?
North Lake, I believe Napleton owns that one.
I think so.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so, but we Terry Taylor. That's what it is.
A lower level lease car, and they had the whole paperwork sitting on the car seat. So I went over there and took it out. I'm nosy. So I'm looking at the price, blah blah blah. So they had the $1,995 thing, protection free, the paint, the seats, and that. Right. So I'm walking around. I get to the other end where they got the high-end Nissan car, that sports coupe, two-door sports coupe. I don't know what model it was.
Okay.
But there was a father and son there. The car listed for $65,000.
Wow. Hey, Steve, hold on for just a second. I want to give a shout-out to Sarah, who's a first-time caller. Please, Sarah, I promise you, if you call back, I will take your call. I will interrupt everybody and take your call. Okay, Steve, continue.
Okay, so I went over to the high-priced Nissan. A father and son was there. The kid just must have graduated high school, and this is the car he wanted. A $65,000 car. So I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to give an 18-year-old kid a $65,000 car, high performance? I mean, that's asking for trouble. I mean, if I owned a Hellcat when I was 18, I'd probably still be in jail. But the point was, I'm looking at the car for the same protection package that was on the cheap car. This protection package went to $9,995.
Wow.
So all that $65 plus another $10,000 onto that car. And the father goes, so this is the car my son wants. I was like, oh, Lord, don't you read the paperwork on that car? I mean, if you got the money, fine,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, for $10,000, I'd go buy the kid a $10,000 car so he learned how to drive properly. Instead of giving him something like that, especially if that's your first car. Having a car like that is just going to get in trouble. Plus, the insurance is probably going to be sky high.
Well,
you're right about all that.
You're talking to a man that has 3 sons, and each one of them got a new car. And I won't tell you all the experiences we had with that.
But I was I caused you the least amount of anxiety.
Okay, then.
You were a good son.
No.
And Steve, I got to tell you, I have 3 daughters. And between insurance and everything in between, we don't have time for me to share some of the nightmares on the air.
If I told my father, let him rest in peace, I wanted that car, he'd go out and tell me to get 5 jobs to pay for that thing.
Yes, that's the times have changed, Steve.
You ain't kidding.
The times have changed. Steve, we appreciate your call. Did we cover everything that we had time for with you?
Yes, we did. Everybody stay safe and well. See you next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I hope so.
Bye-bye.
877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. I have some interesting facts to share with you from Consumer Report. A little teaser. Did you know that it'll cost you $5,000 more to lease a vehicle? To be continued. Sarah, I can't thank you enough for calling back. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm in the market for a new car, and I'm looking at Toyota and Nissan, and I would like to know if you could tell me the most reputable dealers in South Florida. I'm looking at Al Massey Toyota and Toyota in Deerfield Beach, and I don't know anything more about Nissan.
Well, Sarah, let me start off by saying stay on the line when we're finished and give Jeremy your contact information in the control room, and I will get a check out to you when I receive that information. You were asking about reputable dealerships. Did you know that you could go to Earl on Cars and you could click on good dealer, bad dealers? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
There's some pretty important information right there. Good dealer, bad dealer, dealers.com, and a few places that you can go to build your knowledge is Consumer Report, just to name one. The internet is filled with all kinds of information on what they think. If you enter your needs, what you need, what you're looking for, that's also a big help. And you're best suited for staying out of the dealership up until the time you purchase your vehicle, and that's the only time that you go into the dealership. You can test drive that vehicle, and then you can make up your mind. Guys, do you have any more information for Sarah?
No, I think you covered it all. You got to figure out the car that you want, but it also has to be a car that has a good rating. You don't have to buy Consumer Report's #1 car. Just don't buy their worst car. They have an annual list of the best and worst cars. So I would say look at the worst and definitely don't buy one of those.
Yeah, absolutely. And safety features, and so many other things that you can check out on the internet. Fuel efficiency.
I have been trying to do that. I like the RAV4.
That's a very good choice. Very good choice. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the RAV4 still holds first place. The Camry used to be there, but
that's right.
Stu, is that an accurate statement?
In terms of sales, the Camry was surpassed by RAV4 a couple of years ago for #1 sales, and it is a great car. I have my daughter, my youngest daughter, is driving one, and I feel very comfortable with her.
The RAV4?
The RAV4 hybrid, yeah.
It's so it remains at the top of the list.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Stay on the line. Talk to Jeremy.
Okay, can I?
Okie dokie.
Can I mention-
Shirley, Earl has something to say.
No,
Can you hold on?
I didn't know we had a caller. Let's go to the caller.
Okay. Welcome, Shirley, as a first-time caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, welcome, and you just won yourself $50. When we're finished talking, Shirley, if you will give your information to Jeremy in the control room, he'll pass that along to me, and I'll get that check out to you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, what can we do for you?
I have an older car, and I drove through it's a 2014, and I drove through a bucket of paint and got paint all over a tire, and then it splashed up on the side of the fender. And a helpful neighbor decided to try to get that off with a scrubby pad.
Oh, no.
And I've got a lot
with a what?
Scrubby pad, like a Scotch-Brite.
Scrubby pad. Yes, something like a Scotch-Brite.
Eeks.
Yeah, Is there any way to buff it out or try to?
Yes. What you're going to want to do, you're probably going to want to find a local neighborhood kid somebody that's got a little, maybe a little experience, but a lot of elbow grease is going to be necessary for this. They're going to want to wash the area carefully and then use what's called a polishing compound. And
Yes.
the instructions for it will be on the packaging, but it's basically like putting on a wax, and then you let it dry and then buff it back off. And once that polishing compound, run that like twice over it, and that will help to smooth over those
hazing.
scuffy marks. And then wash it again, and then run it with just normal car wax over the whole area. My recommendation for a car wax, I always like Mother's California Gold. And the only reason that I ever recommend it is because
It smells good.
it's a high quality wax, but it also has a cherry fragrance to it. So when you're sitting out there in the heat and you're dying, putting all this stuff on, at least you've got a pleasant fragrance for it. But yeah, a polishing compound will help to smooth those high spots down and clean up those scuffed areas, and it will probably bring it back almost to
Almost
original condition.
And Rick, the name of the product that you just suggested, Mother's.
Mother's California Gold.
Okay.
Yep.
How do you
And
like that, Shirley? Mother's California Gold.
But the compound, the buffing compound, you just go to a
Yeah.
Walmart or wherever, or
You're just looking for something called polishing compound.
by polishing.
Mm-hmm.
And now Jonathan Canner here, he recommended, how about a mobile detail service that can come to your house? That's another good option because they will have a lot of experience handling situations like this. The only drawback is they can get kind of pricey. You might be looking at a couple $100 to get that.
Yeah.
Shirley, are you looking to do that job yourself?
At 81, not particularly.
That's the answer I was looking for, Shirley. There's
go.
a whole lot of stuff that I used to do that I don't do now, and I am 81 years old. To have a car, a 2014 vehicle that you've held on to, I don't know, without getting into your financial status and so on and so forth, it would be well worth my while to make sure that somebody was reputable, that they were knowledgeable, and that they were going to, make me happy. And if that takes somebody coming out to the house to do that job, that's a option that I would entertain.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your advice. I've been listening to this program for a long time, but never had a chance to call.
Is that right?
Glad you did.
You did a great job. We
Because
might want to hire
I'm
you.
traveling.
That's. I hope we hear from you again, Shirley.
Thanks.
You were a great addition this morning, and you really, as an important female caller, there's so many women that are listening to the show that don't call in, and you're a living example of, just dialing that number and getting on the show, and it's easy peasy. It's not something, that it takes it takes a little bit of courage, but there are more women calling the show that didn't. Thank you so much, Shirley.
Well, if they write down their question, it helps a whole lot.
That's great advice. I'm sure that there are a lot of ladies that are going to take you up on that. It's great advice. You have a
Thank
wonderful.
you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend. Okay, our number here is 877-960-9960. You can text us at 772-497-6530. YourAnonymousFeedback.com. Take advantage of that. Back to the telephones where Phil is waiting from Jupiter. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. I got a question. I guess I don't know who would answer this one, but I'm in the market for an SUV, and I've come across the Venza. It's supposed to be a crossover.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it a crossover? I mean, what is it?
Crossover, it kind of varies because it's applied to quite a few vehicles, but simply put, it's somewhere between a sedan and an SUV. So a crossover has the seating and some of the storage of an SUV, but they usually sit a little bit lower. They don't have that high profile of an SUV.
Yeah, if a van mated with a sedan.
Yeah, or if like a Highlander mated with a
Yeah,
Camry,
then you'd end up with a crossover.
crossover.
Combination of two styles.
Yeah.
And Stu, didn't the Crown take over for the discontinued Avalon as a crossover?
Yeah, that's interesting too. So we have quite a few crossovers in the Toyota lineup, and so do the other manufacturers. The Crown was a replacement. It's a crossover, and it replaced a luxury sedan, which was interesting because you don't usually see a different body type replacing an old body type, but it's a really nice crossover.
Yeah, and Tom, I had the opportunity to drive the Crown, and I'm not sure what you're looking for as far as luxury is concerned, and the feel, and the look of the crossover. But that Crown is just an amazing vehicle.
The Venza is they're all hybrids. So is the Crown, and the Venza is pretty nice. It was originally introduced as it looked like a crossover. It looked like kind of like a fat station wagon, and then it came back and it looks kind of a little bit more SUV like. But
so it's going to drive more like a car.
Yes, exactly. It's all on this Toyota TNGA platform. And it's a unibody, and it's very comfortable, and it doesn't feel like you're driving an SUV.
Well, that's why I liked it. I test drove the Venza, and I felt like I was driving a car in that thing.
Yeah, they're all going to feel like that. Because they're basically tall cars.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
good. That answers my question. I appreciate
You got it, Phil.
It's not going to be like that station wagon that is so low, to the road.
You know what I miss
the
about
SUV.
the station wagon, though? Is the way back seat that faced rear. I remember we had one. We had a Pontiac. I'm pretty sure had it been a Pontiac. What else could it have been? And we'd go out in the cars, and me and my little brothers would sit facing rear, just waiting to be rear-ended by another giant Bonneville or something. But anyway, Phil, thanks for calling.
Okay, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Okay, we're going to stay with the phones, and we're going to talk to Pat. She's calling us from New Jersey, and she's called before. Good morning, Pat.
Hi, how are you?
We're great, thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
giving us a call this morning. What can we do for you?
I have a problem with my 2010 Prius now. Last year I called about my 2008. Well, yesterday or the day before, I got in the car and I had a message on the dash, checked hybrid system.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to my local mechanic, and he put it on the code, and I've got a code. It's P0886. No, P0886.
Rick just passed out.
Oh,
just
why?
kidding. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't. I'm joking. I'm sorry. I do that. Please continue.
Okay, so anyway, when I drive the car, it charges, but it doesn't, it seems like it doesn't flip back and forth. Like when I came to a slow, normally if you take your foot off the brake, it comes to a slow stop if you're approaching a stop sign or a red light. I had to really press on the brake to stop the car.
Mm-hmm.
So it appears the hybrid isn't being inactive. Is that...
Well, the POAA6 is what's known as an isolation code. This is going to sound like a cop-out, but basically what that code says is that somewhere in the high voltage system, one of those wires is detecting a short to ground on the hybrid, actually connecting to a ground source in the car. And this can be as minor and simple as a little bit of corrosion has formed on the metal of the battery case for the hybrid battery, and it's actually got a little connection down to ground from the hybrid battery terminals. Or it could be damaged insulation on wiring, a problem inside the transmission motor assembly, a problem with the electric brakes, a problem with the air conditioning.
So what you're
There's
saying
a
is
really
very
wide
complicated,
area.
and she probably ought to take it to more than one source. You might get 3 different diagnoses if you go to 3 different dealers. It's a complicated problem, so you need to be very, very careful. Don't let someone sell you something that you pay a lot of money for and you still got the same problem.
Right. And the big issue here is you're going to need someone with a more in-depth scan tool, because the basic scan tools will pull the basic code, but in a more in-depth scan tool, one that is designed by Toyota, will actually get more information from the system about where that isolation fault is located and what's causing it, and help them diagnose what's going on. Because it gives you a blanket code that says somewhere in this whole system, but there will be more information in there, detailed information, that will narrow it down and say, okay, it's in this area is where you got to start looking. But that's where you're going to have to go for that one.
Pat, thanks for the call.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you, Pat. Give us a call again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to Marty in West Palm Beach. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning.
Welcome.
I hope you're both feeling better.
How's that crown treating you?
That's what I was going to say. My first comment is I've had a lot of cars in my 79 years. I've had at least 15 people come up to me since I've had that car for 4 months, and people have raved about the styling and the look of that car. And I will say this, it does drive very nice. I got the one with panoramic camera, so I like that.
Yeah.
But it's a very nice car. I know Earl doesn't like an info commercial, but it's a very nice.
Well,
very
there's
nice
a lot of our audience is where everyone's listening, and for you to call about the Crown, we appreciate you, and the Crown is a showstopper. And how do I know? I drove it. Earl drove it. So
yesterday I took a Minteco car wash over here, had a promotion, and I had 2 people that were giving out sandwiches, and they ran over to the car and said, "What is this?" You know, I don't see it advertised on TV at all, but they didn't even know what kind of car it was.
Did they give you a sandwich?
The other thing I wanted to tell you, I took my wife's car, it's a CRV, to Ed Morse for just an oil change and tire rotation. He's still on all his stickers. He's still got $3,995, which is the minimum price adjustment he's got on all of them. Plus, you pay $9.99 dealer fee plus $300 and some to get the license plate.
Yeah.
So he's still $5,000 over sticker, but they've got a lot. And I don't want to do an info commercial for them, but they got a lot of CRVs sitting in the lot.
Yeah, maybe they ought to get rid of those markups. You know, a lot of dealers are having a hard time letting go of those. What are now the good old days to them. You know, they don't want to let it go, so they're gonna keep trying for a while. We're seeing it in the mystery shops. We did the Honda dealership a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, believe me, the CRV is a nice car because I bought her lease out at the end, and they wanted, if I bought the lease through the dealership, they wanted $1,400 more than the payoff.
Big no-no there.
I just
and it was
paid
just
directly to Honda.
Yeah, it is crazy. After what just happened down here, there was some big court cases with dealers that were doing that, adding on to the lease buyout, which is a big no-no.
Yeah, well, they told me, which is BS, I'm sure, that they have to sell that. If they pay it off, they're saying they have to sell it as a used car.
Yes.
But I'm sure that's BS.
That is true. but that's okay. That's but they're still lying about having to charge you all the fees. That's
Right,
that's all a bunch of garbage.
Right. Well,
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate the call.
Thanks, Marty.
okay, I hope your crown sales go up.
I hope so too.
Thanks, Marty. We're going to go to David. David's calling us from New Jersey. Good morning, David.
Good morning. I've called before, and Rick's helped me quite a bit with diagnosis.
Oh, great.
And my Prius has a new issue. It's 2012, 175,000, and it seems to need struts. And first, I was surprised that my Toyota dealer doesn't use a Toyota part. So I wanted to ask him about that, and if he could recommend some parts. But they use FCS struts.
One of the things that we found at our shop, it's a big, huge savings to the customer. Toyota struts, Toyota's extremely proud of them. As a matter of fact, back in the 80s, they used to give you, if you bought new struts for your vehicle, you only paid one time. They gave you a lifetime warranty on the replacement strut that you were installing. But now the quality really is not any greater than what you're going to find on a lot of the aftermarket parts for struts. And one of the things we found is we can buy from an aftermarket sources the strut with the spring and assembly all put together for about the same price as just the basic strut on a Toyota, which is just the shock absorber. And it's less expensive to swap that out. And also the mechanics like it because it's a lot less dangerous. You're not worrying about having to compress that giant spring in there. Now, for testing your strut to verify if you think they may be kind of being a little early on you, the first thing you can do is look down in the wheel well with a flashlight and shine it on the strut and look if you see any signs of dampness or leaking or signs where it's where it looks like it's wet or sticky. If you don't see anything there, if everything looks nice and dry, then you go to the good old bounce test. And that's basically you go to each corner of the car, start bouncing it up and down, and when you stop pushing on it, within like 1 to 1.5 moves, that car should settle right down and stop bouncing. If it keeps bouncing a couple times, then yeah, you need new struts. Or if you're going over a bump and you hear a noise that sounds like it's right up near usually going to sound like it's right at the top of the tire, up near the windshield, you hear a clunk or a rattling sound, then that can indicate also that those struts need to be replaced. And like I said, it's actually a savings to you to replace that whole strut assembly with the aftermarket units. And again, the quality on them has come up so much that just make sure that they're offering a regular warranty on it, and I would go with it.
Okay, but I think I do need them because it just started on it, and then when it's bounced, it's making all kinds of what you're just saying, the noise.
Yep.
And when you do the bounce to everything, and it started like immediately. It didn't, but the car does have 175,000 miles.
It's probably fun at first,
Yeah, and I've seen that happen quite often. Now, bear in mind with the Prius, there also can be one other noise that you'll hear that may sound similar, but you won't get that bounciness to it. And this is when you go over a bump, you'll hear this metallic rattling sound, but it's going to sound like it's in the dash almost right ahead of you. And it actually is. It's actually in the steering, the electric steering where the motor mounts up. There's two little gears that have dampeners, plastic dampeners. And when those dampeners break down, they start making noise in there. So just make sure that they've looked at it and that it's not coming from there. But if you say you're getting that bounciness to the front end, yeah, it's going to be the struts.
Yeah. But what brands is the FCS good, or is there other brands because I also took it to an independent, and I don't know the names. Price is quite a bit less than the Toyota deal.
Well, anything you buy that's not a factory part, you want to find out what the warranty is, and you want to find out the company that's manufacturing them. If you go to rockauto.com, you will find more choices than you can imagine, and you can even find Toyota parts there that will be cheaper than what the Toyota dealer would probably charge you. So I looked at Amazon 2012 Prius struts, and they got 1 million of them there, and the price
No, I
is
saw, and there's a lot of different prices, and they're quite a bit less, but I need to have it installed. But how about the FCS brand if I do go with Toyota?
I don't really know that brand myself right off the bat, but if they've been using them for a while, I would ask the service writer, say, hey, how long have you guys been using this specific brand? And if they've been using them for quite a while, and they say, yeah, we've had good luck, because they're going to have to warranty it. If it's because if it starts making noise or starts getting sloppy again within that normal 1 year warranty that Toyota offers, that dealer is going to have to take care of that. So I would ask them about it, and odds are they're going to say, yeah, we've used them for a long time, and they're good.
Okay, and one other question. The dealer says I need a stabilizer bar, but the independent said you can just do the links. Would you just do the links if, in fact, you needed the stabilizer, or would you do the whole thing?
Just the links, because there's the bar itself never wears out. That's just a big metal bar. The links actually have the little moving parts in it, and that's what's going to wear, and possibly the rubber bushings for the bar, but you don't need to replace the entire bar,
That's
just the
what
links.
they said, but yeah, the dealer had that, so that would be quite a bit less, too.
Right.
Okay. Well, your help greatly helps me.
Thanks for the call, David. Really appreciate it.
Glad I could help.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think we have John from Palm City holding.
Okay.
Jeremy, can you put John from Palm City? Nancy stepped out for just a second.
Good morning.
Good morning,
John.
John.
Hey, John. Yes, this is John from Palm City.
Yeah.
I just want to mention, Nancy briefly mentioned the Avalon being replaced by the Crown. Nancy will probably tell you she drove an Avalon for a long time, and I read a oil company petroleum report. I think it was from Quaker State, one of the oil companies, specifically said that year they came out with an oil OW16 that's used today in a lot of cars, and Toyota and Honda had it. And specifically in their report, they said a 2021 Toyota Avalon sedan, due to this OW16 oil, had improved cold starts, faster engine warm-ups, because it's a light viscosity oil, and it helps the variable valve timing. And on account of this OW16 oil, that Avalon in 2021 can get 34 miles per gallon. So
That's
it was.
great. Is that where we're
they were
using?
bragging about the viscosity, but they did mention Avalon specifically.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Did you know that we're also now running a 0W8 motor oil in the new Camrys?
No, I had no idea of that.
Wow.
But the oil,
that's really
they said
slippery.
also, in that 2021, you could use OW20, but they don't recommend. They stay with the 16. So I wasn't aware of the new oil that you said.
Yep. As a matter of fact, our dealership, we have 0W20 in the pump guns and 0W16 in the pump guns. And now they're switching us now on some of the newest ones to 0W8. It's literally the thickness of olive oil. That's what it feels like.
Right.
That's
Well, that's
great.
important because on whatever car you drive, make sure either in your owner's manual or on top of the additive, the oil cap, is the oil that is supposed to be recommended and used only by the manufacturer. So this is critical because there's so many weights. I'm going back to the old days when it was 1030 oil, which they still use today.
Yep.
And it's very critical in the amount of correct viscosity that you use in your automobile. Another
Absolutely.
thing I want to mention to the car wash, I would, if I had a Mercedes-Benz, the last place I would go to is a car wash, and I wouldn't like a beautiful Mercedes finish to use brushes on my car. What I recommend and what I use, they're a little hard to find. You go to a car wash where you drive it in yourself. There's no racks. It's a straight concrete floor, and lasers come around. You park in the center. They guide you where to go, and no brushes and nothing touches your car or your finish, and it dries itself. There's no men needed, and it does a fabulous job. But they're a little hard to find, and it's called a laser car wash, and no brushes at all touch the finish on your car.
Yep.
Thank you, John. That's really good information.
Yeah,
I recommended in the past to Earl. There was one, but if you look around and you'll find it, that it wouldn't have. If I had a Mercedes, no car brush on a car wash would touch my finish.
Mm-hmm.
Great advice, John.
All right, guys. I'm looking forward to the shopping report.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Who's lined up?
We're all finished with our calls, so I'm going to hand it over to Stu or Rick.
I'll go do the traditional Anne-Marie because it's been a while, and I think we've confused people. We've been live and not live. Anne-Marie says, good morning. It appears that no good deed goes unpunished. The National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, has required automakers use flame retardants and car seat foam to slow or prevent the spread of car-related fires since the 1970s. Now, data from recent studies indicates that fire retardants may be carcinogenic. Yikes. Number one, if that proves to be the case, what would you suggest that automakers and NHTSA try instead? Two, should they try to develop fire retardants that are not likely to be carcinogenic? I think that would be a start. Or should they switch from foam seats to something less flammable? Any ideas?
Well, our technical advisor just walked out of the room. So.
Okay. Well, we could guess. I think they should let everybody know that they might have a carcinogen in their car first, and then maybe try a nitrogen-based flame retardant. I believe those are very non-toxic, and they might use those in kids' clothing. So
never did like carcinogens.
I didn't. So I listen. If you're reading, Anne-Marie read this in Jalopnik, and the story was in there, and it's very concerning. So I didn't click the link yet, read into it, but yeah, if that's going on, like you said, that's one more thing we need to worry about, right? But hopefully it's something that could be that they can fix, or they've been aware about, and the newer cars don't have carcinogens. So we'll look into it a little bit more. All right, thanks, Anne-Marie.
Okay, got any more text?
Yeah, you're just going to find that in your charcoal on your grill now.
I know, my God. When they said that charring steak was carcinogenic, I went, come on, man.
No feeling, no taste like it, I should say.
I know. I'm going to make steak tonight. That's my plan.
Are you? Oh.
Yeah. I have another text from Richie in St. Louis. He says, question on car charging. We are purchasing our first electric car, and we were curious if we can just put a standard 240-volt plug, or should we purchase an actual car charger to put in our garage? I can answer that because Earl and Nancy and I, we've all done that. Earl and Nancy have the Tesla home charger put in, and I have a ChargePoint HomeFlex charger put in. There's an advantage to the actual EV specific chargers because they use more amps and they'll charge it faster, but it's a lot cheaper to go ahead and you can charge with an adapter in your 240 volt plug. But it just takes a lot longer. If that's not a big deal, if your car is at your house and it's parked for a long time, you could save a lot of money by using just your 240 volt plug.
Yeah, and excuse me, Stu, but it is really cost effective if you're to take and charge your electric vehicle after midnight.
That's true. That's another thing, because Nancy brought up a good point. The reason she said that is because the electricity is cheaper in low demand periods. One of the nice things of using a installed charger or home charger as opposed to the 240 plug is they often come with apps, and they can regulate that, so they can use the cheapest electricity. It will slow down the charge. It won't get as much electricity when it's higher, and it taps in. It's called a smart charger, and I think that's what your Tesla charger has, those capabilities.
Yeah.
And so there's your options, and so I'd think if you're going for absolute just saving money, go ahead and just use your 240 plug, but you got to leave your car there longer. But like my charge point was $500. It's about $500, but you got to pay an electrician to install it unless you're an electrician yourself. So that's going to cost you a few $100 more. So it could cost you close to $1,000 before you're all said and done.
Yeah, it's a great investment.
Yeah, Rick.
A little note from Donovan. He says, do the FPL plan. They'll install a wired charger for $31 a month. Don't use a plug, please. Always hardwire if you can. The time of use plan starts at 10 p.m., not midnight, and it changes in the winter time. The FPL EV plan manages it in the charger automatically.
Oh, okay.
So
Great information.
So that's I would do that. And also, quick, I have a follow up. And this was from Dave in New Jersey. He just want to know what brand of struts are we using at the dealership, the aftermarket ones?
We try to look for the Monroes.
Okay.
As often as we can, but there are several others that we're using. It depends on what we can get from like AutoZone, and we're trying to find ones that give us they obviously are going to have a good warranty to them, but we look for something that's also going to be the best cost effectiveness to the customer.
Oh, sure, because if you're assembling this thing, like I said, wrestling around with the spring, that's longer. It's going to cost more to put in. So
exactly,
concise, put together unit, plug and play, right? Kinda.
And if you ever want to see a terrifying video, go on YouTube and look for somewhere strut disassembly.
And people are getting impaled by these things?
Yeah, some of these guys will literally take an air gun and put it on that top nut and spin it off and let that whole assembly just fly apart. That spring has so much force that I've seen them hit the ceiling of a 20-foot tall shop.
And stick.
And literally bash concrete out of the ceiling.
That's horrifying.
It's terrifying how much power is there.
Yeah, so safety is also another consideration here.
Big time.
Yeah, people don't want their mechanics getting impaled. Okay, I'm all caught up on text. There is a anonymous feedback if you want to do that, or if we have a call.
We don't.
Oh, we do.
We don't.
We don't. Okay, anonymous feedback, real quick, and I'll clean my slate. I've had Toyotas for over 30 years. Why in God's green earth did Toyota take out the V6 of the Tacoma? Nobody asked for that. We don't want this. Well, you don't want more horsepower and torque and better fuel efficiency? Go ahead. I actually looked it up because I knew it was a better car, but I know that people have a very strong attachment to the Tacoma. But I can tell you, and I actually jotted this down because I want you to feel better about them. The old V6 Tacoma on the 4x4 is 278 horsepower and 265 foot-pounds of torque.
Yep.
The new iForce hybrid four-cylinder turbo gets 313 horsepower and 440 pounds of torque.
And turbo is where it is.
Yeah, and
that's
also
what Toyota's done.
It's more reliable, less problems.
V8s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to get defensive. I'm just saying.
Well, the anonymous feedback is probably from an older guy.
Yeah, somebody
and back in my day, it was all about cubic inches. You almost didn't ask a guy what kind of car or what he paid for it. You say, how many cubic inches you got in that baby?
Yeah.
And the bigger the engine.
Better.
Remember Cadillac had the 16-cylinder?
Yes.
I don't remember, but
yes.
Yeah, you wouldn't remember.
No, but I do know, I know there are Rolls-Royce has a V12 on the market or something. There's some.
The Chrysler used to come out with these 500 cubic inch engines, which, my God.
Jaguar had a V12, and I actually saw one time. It was amazing though. The guy starts the engine up, he takes a little plastic cup of water and sets it on the hood, and the water was just as still as it could be. This V12 was so smooth.
It just balances out every opposing force, right? Yeah, wow.
But
what did it sound like?
Here's one of the things that a lot of people are nervous about is turbo's got a bad rap in the U.S. When in the 80s, Honda and Toyota, a lot of them tried turbochargers, and Honda especially, and they were trying to boost their cars because Honda wanted cars that young people would like that could be like race cars.
Yeah.
Turbochargers is a great way to do it. The problem was their turbos were running at such high speed that you couldn't keep them oiled properly, and they would break down and fly apart. Now, everybody's seeing the turbos coming back. They're remembering what they saw in the past, and they're terrified of it. But what Americans don't understand is that Toyota has been running turbocharged diesel engines throughout the rest of the world
this whole
for
time.
the past 50 years. And they've worked out all the bugs and know how to make a turbo actually work properly.
Yeah.
And so now they're simply bringing that technology to these gasoline engines.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had a couple of them when they first started. There were a couple of them that had some issues, little growing pains there, but they had that solved within like a few weeks.
I drove one for a year, had no problems.
Okay.
One more anonymous, or we got somebody on the deck? One more anonymous. Okay. TrueCar ripped me off. They charged me a dock fee, $175. Well, that's a pretty good dock fee. Got me hook, line, and sinker. Not going to defend anybody here, but I don't think TrueCar ripped you off. I think the dealer that was signed up
Yeah,
at TrueCar.
what I don't understand is what she say, or he or she said, TrueCar. You don't buy a car from TrueCar. TrueCar is a third-party consulting company that charges the dealer for a referral. They show you the dealers in your area, as many zip codes as you want to put in. You can look at a lot of dealers, and they will give you the dealer's price, and they will give you the breakdown of the price, including if they have to add dealer fees or things like that. That has to be disclosed. So I don't think the anonymous feedback person means that TrueCar screwed her.
They went through TrueCar and the dealer scooter.
Yeah. It's like Costco. They're third-party systems. Costco is very good. TrueCar is very good, and the dealers are the ones that actually sell you the car. So even Costco program has rotten apples in their barrel, and if they don't go by the rules, then they can really take advantage of you. I suggest that whether it's TrueCar or Costco, if you use a third-party auto buying company, is to verify with them the TrueCar or the Costco that is their price, and then it will be a good deal.
And just the silver lining, that's the smallest dock fee I've ever seen in my life. It's a cute little $175 dock fee. So they got you, but
nice.
You're clearly not living down here in South Florida. They could have got you for over $1,000. So count your blessings.
Yeah,
all
well
right,
over.
all caught up.
Okay.
We're
good here.
You're going to tell everybody about our secret thing?
Yeah. We have. We're going to have. Hang on, Doug. We have a new addition, I should say, to Earl on Cars, and it's in the making as we speak, and it's going to be a Zoom add-on. Earl?
Well, you're holding, Doug, and when we get the Zoom set up, which hopefully will be next week or the week after, we'll be able to see your ugly face right here on screen. So we're going to be almost like a TV station. So Zoom is coming to Earl on Cars, and Jonathan is working on that right now from the technical aspect, and we'll keep you posted. You'll be able to go to a Zoom link, and you'll be able to be right here in the studio with Nancy and Sue and Rick and me.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting.
So when you thought Saturday mornings you could just roll out of bed and call us.
Yeah.
Look however you
look. We can do the show for bed. That's a great idea.
You got to brush your teeth now. You got to comb your hair.
You talk about stress. I think one of the qualifications of being here on Earl on Cars with this group of guys is that I have, it's learned behavior. And what I've learned to do most times is talk real fast. Sometimes you just can't get the words out, but we are going to have to talk even faster, because not only are we going to have, your anonymous feedback and Facebook and YouTube and texting and the phone calls that are coming in, this is going to be massive. And if I have got your attention, that was my intention, so stay tuned for Zoom.
You had my attention. I was like, where are you going? Oh, wow. By the way, you look really nice this morning. You look wonderful.
Hey, Johnny C. Fraley wants to know...
Hey, hold on a second.
Will that Zoom be sponsored by Mazda?
More. Okay, later.
Go ahead.
He wants to know if it's going to be sponsored by Mazda. Zoom.
It's fine.
I don't know. We could...
Okay.
We'll take some sponsorships.
Yeah. Earl has a whole lot to get to, some really very important information, most of all Napleton, and I don't want to take up any more time. Doug, welcome to the show. You're calling us from Tequesta?
Yo, Doug.
Hello, Doug.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
Yes, ma'am. I would just want to say, first of all, I like the way you treat the public. It's, it's great. So my question is, I have the 2001 Toyota Avalon. I called before about my airbag light flashing, and the gentleman told me it was a modular fob. I called the parts department at Stewart Toyota, and the gentleman had no idea what I was talking about. So I need to know, is this modular fob a fuse or some kind of gadget, or what? What is it?
Oh, wait a minute. You say airbag light. I recall you said your headlights were in op, and you had it.
See, you're right, sir. And that started working again.
Okay,
the
that's
working again. But the flashing of the seatbelts kept on going on.
Well, wait a minute. Now we're hearing seatbelts. All right, let's start over here. The headlight issue is most likely going to be module D as in David.
Okay, sir. I have no more headlight issue.
Okay, so we're gonna leave that one alone then.
All right, it fixed itself.
But the airbag, and you say the seatbelt light is flashing now?
Man, he's got problems.
Not the seatbelt, sir. Just the airbag.
Oh, just the airbag light. Okay. That's not going to be the fuse block under the hood. That's more likely going to be the center sensor for the airbag itself, which is located on, it's basically going to be bolted to the floor of the car, up underneath the air conditioning box, way up near where the floor starts to curve upwards into the firewall. And what year's your Avalon?
2001.
There is a possibility. You're going to need to get this checked out by someone to pull the codes to find out what's going on, specifically with your airbag. But with it blinking, I would say my first guess right off the bat, obviously I'd be getting the codes out to verify this, but there's a possibility you've got water leakage or something has gotten into that airbag sensor that's on the floor underneath that air conditioning box.
Listen, we got some calls. We're running out of time, Doug. Listen to what Rick told you and call us back next week and give us a report.
I sure will. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Doug. Have a great weekend. Okay. We're at 9:26 right now. We do have the dog of the week to get to, but Earl has some important information to share with you.
Well, now that you mentioned Dog of the Week, with the Zoom, we now have the potential to be able to actually have our Dog of the Week on screen.
Where we can interact.
And they could be at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. I can't think of the more I think about Zoom, I think about the possibilities that we have to see what we've been talking about. And I think the Dog of the Week, we used to have the dog come into the studio until we got a Great Dane one time?
Knocked everything over.
Knocked you over. We have a very small studio, so I believe, were you trampled, Nancy? Or
no, but Jonathan, this Great Dane was the object of Jonathan's affection.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan was the object.
He climbed up on his computer, I believe, something crazy.
Yeah. Well, and as I recall, when he started wagging his tail,
knocked out a tooth.
Almost got a concussion.
I almost knocked out my other tooth.
Yeah. So. We're going to be talking about Woodrow as far as the dog is concerned, which is a boxer mix. Earl has some other things to share.
Well, this was an automotive news article, and I printed this out. The headline says, Napleton Automotive tops new survey on web lead response times.
Big deal.
Yeah. I'm at a loss for words, because you regular listeners and a lot of other people know that Napleton runs one of the most disingenuous, negative, crooked, untransparent operations anywhere. And he's one of the largest dealers. And part of my shock when I saw this article in Automotive News is praising Napleton for the shortest response time in having the F&I person greet the customer when he came in. Now, that having the F&I person, the business manager they sometimes call him, the guy that wants to sell you a bunch of worthless products and a high interest rate and make on the average $2,000 more than what you've already paid for the car. Automotive News gives Napleton this award because the man in the box came out of the box and talked to the customer quickly to gain the customer's confidence. And for that, he gets an award and a big article in the Automotive News. So the moral to this story is, as long as you have institutions like Automotive News and you have regulators like we have in almost all of the states, unless you have the people out there that are going to enforce these rules, the bandits of the world will be able to continue to get away with things. So Napleton, even when I talk to the Federal Trade Commission, and I'm talking to them a lot now because I've submitted an amicus brief in defense of the regulations FDA wants to add. They are remiss, and they know that Napleton does bad things. They don't have the manpower to enforce the laws they already have.
Yeah, absolutely. And, for all the listeners, for everyone out there that just heard what Earl just announced from Automotive News, what do you think this does to them? Let me tell you what it does to him. It drives him. It just reinforces his passion for cracking down on these dealers. And with a force like the Automotive News, you just can shake your head and complain. Hey, guess what? Nobody likes a crybaby. So what we do here is, or what my husband does, is that he's out there and he's fighting for you, the consumer, and he's trying to reinforce and this transparent pricing when consumers can easily compare prices across products and everything in between. This is the essence of capitalism, and Earl is going to pursue his goals with this cracking down on junk fees and overpricing for everything.
Yeah, and by the way, the U.S. House of Representatives committee has already blocked any funding for the Federal Trade Commission. So that's a sneaky behind the closed doors thing that goes on in Washington that you never know about. I mean, you can play verbal support for something, and when you go in your committee and say, yeah, we're in favor of regulations that keep car dealers honest, but guess what? We're not going to pay. You will not be able to have anything in the budget to implement the regulation enforcement that you need. So it's until the media takes hold of this and runs with it, there's all the lobbying in the world. The lobbying in the world is going to run the country, and the only people doing the lobbying right now, virtually, are the businesses. So the businesses have got the edge.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to bring everybody up to speed as far as what Earl is doing for you, for everyone, for all of us, as far as the combating auto retail scams. We've got to get to somebody, and I think that somebody has 4 legs. And let me get out.
His name's Woodrow. And no dealer fleas.
Yeah, there you go. We have a dog by the name of
Woodrow.
He's so sweet.
Oh, that was Woodrow.
Woodrow. And before I forget, before we get to the Big Duck Ranch, as far as Zoom is concerned, how's that going to affect the mystery shopping report?
Well, the Zoom is a potential tool that we could use. Stu figured out the states where we could legally do it, and you could actually have Agent Lightning do a video recording of a mystery shop.
Right.
And it could be live right here on Earl and cars. So the possibilities are limitless.
Okay, let me ask you this. What about her? What about their identity?
Well,
She won't
she would
point
have
the
the
camera.
camera. She'd have the
She'll
camera.
point the camera away from herself.
Yeah. Or she could wear a disguise, But I mean, she would be pointing the camera at the salesperson, and she wouldn't have the camera on herself.
I got you. Okay, it's doable.
Or she could do what Earl used to do: is wear a GoPro strapped to his forehead.
Okay, Woodrow is a 4-year-old boxer mix, and he comes to us from Big Dog Ranch, and every week we pay the adoption fees. And what else happens, Stu?
We just make it a lot easier. We our sponsored dogs every week we show, and we make it easier by taking care of the adoption fees. And we get on the show here just to make sure everybody who's listening or watching, hopefully watching, because you got to see this dog, shares it with people that might be interested in a dog, because not everybody listening is, as we say in the car business, in the market for a canine. But share it and let everybody know what you saw and heard on Earl Strode on Cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to roll that video.
All right.
Hi, my name is Judy. I'm with Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and I'm Woodrow's friend. He's just over 4 years old, and he's been here since last August. He's really well behaved. I take him home for weeks at a time or days out. He loves meeting children. He loves meeting people. Even when I'm at the dog park, he plays with other dogs, and he's always very happy, as you can see. When I have him in the house, he'll be by himself sometimes for 10 hours at a time. He doesn't chew anything. He's housebroken, and he is just a sweetheart. At first I thought he would be great for a big farm, but he's also perfect for anybody with an apartment that has time for him. Because he wags his tail all the time when he sees the kids approach him, and then they end up petting him, and he's very much a family. He's very healthy. He has no quirks about him, and he just needs love. So hopefully you can meet him. And he's looking for his forever home.
And his tail wags in sync with his panting.
That's right.
His tongue and his tail are synchronized.
Woodrow, that guy's a big dog, but I could tell you right away that as soon as I saw her, if you weren't watching, he was leaning into our volunteer, and just standing there looking at the camera. He's my dogs do that. This is, even though he's big, I'm telling you, this is an inside, outside, anywhere dog, and he does look really healthy. So give Woodrow a chance. Give us a call if you're interested, or text us, and or go to bdrr.org, and you can see Woodrow, and they got hundreds of dogs on that website.
And Woodrow came to us from Georgia, and Woodrow's got he's got some history. He has. My point here is that they're looking for a home for Woodrow, and he is 73.2 pounds, and he's a big dog. And you can, as Stu said, you can go to www.bdrr.org, and guess what? They're having they're having an event out there for Father's Day, and they've got a lot of dogs out there that you can, find a home for. Again, that's Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and it's www.bdrr, and you can take a look at Woodrow also.
I do want to say, on Father's Day, Big Dog Ranch Rescue is having their 100 Puppy Palooza.
That's what it is. I was at loss for
Puppy Palooza, and so they're going to have $200 puppies. They're normally $325 to adopt puppies because everybody wants puppies.
Yeah, big discount.
And big discount on other select dogs, and that is on Father's Day this year. It's probably the whole weekend. I don't know the dates, but it's.
That's what I was looking for, that I brought in with me, because I believe that's a long weekend. I think it begins before the weekend.
Probably,
Father's Day starts,
would.
and then it's well after Father's Day.
Yeah. So
and that's a
commemorating
palooza.
Father's Day. Puppy Palooza.
Yeah, and you can go to Big Dog Ranch, bigdogranchrescue.org, and you can see the advertisement that they have for that event.
And one other thing, and kudos to Big Dog Ranch Rescue, you might wonder sometimes why does this one dog home facility rescue area, why is it so big? And the reason is, it's one of the, there may be some others, but this is certainly the largest no-kill shelter
And no cage.
in the world. So Big Dog Ranch gets calls every day from people who care at shelters where they have to euthanize a dog. It's a rule. It can be 30 days, it can be 60 days, whatever the public shelter wants to use. And the amount of time is based on overload because they have too many dogs. When they have too many dogs, they start to have to euthanize the oldest dogs. So what they do is they call Big Dog Ranch Rescue, and they take dogs. This Woodrow came from Georgia, probably from a kill shelter. Now he's in a no-kill shelter, so he's going to be in a resort for it could be a couple of months, it could be a couple of years. No animal is euthanized at Big Dog Ranch Rescue. So you gotta love Lori Simmons, the founder and the head of Big Dog Ranch Rescue. I mean,
huge.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, too, that there are some long-term dogs out there. And, they certainly, it makes up for the length of time that they're out at Big Dog Ranch because, as Earl said, this facility, I'd like to go out there. I mean, it is just amazing how they take care of their dogs. I think that Jonathan is having a heart attack because he told me probably 10 minutes ago that we have a mystery shopping report from. The mystery shopping report is from Treasure Coast Lexus, and you can vote, and we definitely appreciate you voting by texting your vote to 772-497-6530. 772-497-6530.
Okay, Treasure Coast Lexus, and they're up in the Martin County area. If you're not familiar with Florida, near Fort Pierce, and they are owned by a man named Sandy Woods, who I personally know, and it's been, Treasure Coast Lexus has been there for a while. Speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, I arrived around lunchtime and was greeted by Sandy as soon as I walked up to one of the, I got Sandy, the owner, mixed up with the person that greeted Agent Lightning. Anyway, the person that walked up to greet her said, "What brings you in today?" I said, "I was in the market for a new car." So she invited me inside. She led me to a table to gather more information. It was then that she asked my name and introduced herself as Jennifer. She asked me the usual questions, including how many miles a year I drive and whether I'd be leasing or buying. After handwriting a long info sheet, Jennifer asked me to follow her for a tour. Now, that's a little unusual. And Agent Lightning says, "Good Lord, this tour lasted, no joke, 15 minutes, a tour." The only thing she didn't show me in the dealership were the bathrooms. That could be the most important thing you want to look for. From the owner's offices, they covered that, went into Sandy Woods' office, and this is the tour. In the business meeting rooms and pointing upstairs to their snack area, finance offices, business offices. If I were ever to need to work while, if I ever needed to work while my car was being serviced to the service department. Okay, she was telling me it's cleaner than her 3 boys' rooms. I told her I have boys too and would have to show them. Now, I've never heard this done in all the mystery shops that we do. I can see why they did it because Lexus does things a little bit differently. Nancy?
Yeah, they do things a little bit differently, but don't you think this here was a bonding process?
Yeah.
And to make that consumer feel warm and fuzzy,
That's right.
to relax your defenses. And
right in the sales handbook, you have to earn the customer's confidence and trust. And as you say, you can chit chat. Say, here's the owner's office. Oh, come on in. This is our snack room. And look how well we treat our employees here. So it's smart business. Jennifer and I walked every square foot of the dealership to the finance office. Okay, got that. They have a room where they park the car, and a vehicle guru comes and goes over every inch of the vehicle. This is a thing Lexus does, and it's very smart. And I have often thought all dealers should do this, especially with today's complex cars. You really need a thorough explanation of all the bells and whistles, because otherwise, even I or Nancy, we get a late model, we get a new Toyota. It takes us a long while before you can figure out what everything is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can say that as far as the Crown was concerned. You know, we were very schooled on its, advantages.
So Jennifer introduced Agent Lightning to one of the girls who performs the service, which is telling them about the product and, all the things that you're not going to find out unless you read the whole owner's manual, and you're not going to do that. That's like reading Encyclopedia Britannica. She said you also have free car washes every day except Sunday, for as long as you own, never on a Sunday, for as long as you own the vehicle. So Agent Lightning is getting out of patience now. She wants to get to the meat, the nitty-gritty. After all that, I jumped at a hybrid car, saw on the showroom floor, and said, this is exactly what I'm looking for. It was a new shiny black 2024 Lexus NX 350h with an MSRP of $51,070. The MSRP, the Monroney label, was in the right place, and we mentioned that. It's happened twice in the past month or so that we've actually had the Monroney label where it's supposed to be by law.
Ed Morse had it there.
Yeah. Ed Morse Honda, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Most of the time, you can't find it. It's in the trunk, it's under the seat, it's in the glove compartment, or you just don't have one at all. Federal law violation, folks. Jennifer tried to get me outside, but I just fell in love with the one that was on the shore floor, and it was a hybrid. She tried to get me to look at other options, bigger and smaller, but I wasn't having it. This was the car for me. Jennifer demonstrated everything about the NX 350h, from the kick plate, black hatch opening if keys are in your pocket or purse, to showing me they don't have spare tires anymore and the extra storage space where the spare used to be. Then she opened up the front door, showed me how they recently came up with a new push-to-exit feature, so if a car or bicyclist drives too close, the door won't open due to a sensor. I hadn't heard about that.
I've never heard of that.
I never heard about that.
So it locks you in the car.
Yeah, the first thing I thought about, I had an attack of claustrophobia because
me too.
I just, what if you were in a canal and that thing didn't work?
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Open the pod bay doors.
Yeah.
Oh boy. If there's a bicycle blocking me in my car, the bicycle is going to fall over.
And Jennifer told me that the hybrid battery has a 10-year, that's a long warranty, 150,000 mile on the hybrid battery. Now,
That's standard on all hybrid components
all
on
Toyotas.
all Toyotas.
Okay. Yeah, Toyota, Lexus, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, real quick, you missed something on right that was next to the Monroney label.
Oh, the Monroe. Oh, a denim label.
Oh, yeah.
How could I have missed that?
That's quite salient.
I was so excited to see the Monroe label in the right place. But right next to it was the Treasure Coast Lexus $999 addendum label. So shame on you, Sandy, if you're listening. I don't think most of the Lexus dealers have addendum labels.
I thought that they really push the dealers not to do that.
Yeah, I think they strongly encourage the dealers not to do that, but Sandy's a bit of a rebel. And he is.
I know.
He is. You said I knew the guy. I know we're running out of time here, but it's kind of funny. Somebody had a bad experience at Treasure Coast, or he owns Treasure Coast Toyota too,
Okay.
and the person could not get satisfaction from the dealership. So I gave this caller Sandy Woods' personal cell phone number. So Sandy solved the problem, and then he called me and says, "Earl, what the hell are you doing? Give him my cell phone number." He says, "Please don't do that anymore." So
And you didn't. So
okay, then we finally went for a test drive.
And of course, you didn't quit.
By this point, I'd been there for almost an hour. She had me head south on US 1, wanted me to go several lights, then drive all around. But I had enough, so I let her know I want to test out the U-turn in this car after 2 lights. Test out the U-turn.
I think she just want to check out the turn radius and make sure it's easy to turn around.
I also gave it some gas. She let out a nervous, and said she is not a very good passenger.
It's funny, in the original report, Regent Lightning wrote she let out a nervous and I changed that to vocalization.
Vocalization.
Okay,
Have
once
to use
back
that
at the
on Earl.
dealership. Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the dealership, I backed the car into a spot, and then we headed back inside. I said, I'd like to see a price for this car, asked if they're doing markup. Jennifer said, no, they only sell at MSRP. Now remember that. You remember what I saw, the paragraph I missed that Stu pointed out, said something about the package, the addendum label, $999. Well, Jennifer just said, no, they only sell at MSRP. She couldn't promise how long the car would be there, as it's the only one they have. Interesting. She then left me sitting at a table while she got a tablet to put my information in the system. This might be the longest car shopping
This is
experience
dragging on, she
I've
said.
ever endured. That's not a good thing. No. Not a good thing. I mean, she was thorough. You got to give her that. She did everything. She did too much.
You got to read your customer, though.
Yeah.
If she's sighing and saying ugh all the time, I think it's time to...
So after Jennifer had all the info, she asked me how much money, if any, I'd be putting down. I gave her a few options, so she excused herself again to get a price sheet for me. She returned a few minutes later with the worksheet, the famous or infamous worksheet. The top line was MSRP, $51,070. There was no discount from that. Then they added $499 for door cups, another $499 for door edge guards. Then they added their $849 dealer dock fees. They added $700 non-tax fees, which sounds a bit high. That non-tax fees are supposed to be legitimate, but you can't be sure until you get in the F&I office.
Well, usually they use the non-tax fees as a tag at registration, and 700 is way high. I'd say 400 to be fair.
Yeah, they slipped in
$300 a junk. Yeah.
Stu estimates about 300 of that 700 is junk. My real price was $53,217, $2,147 over MSRP. But you heard Jennifer tell Agent Lightning that they sell at MSRP. That's an untruth.
Just an hour and a half ago. Maybe they drag it out so long so you forget what they say.
Yeah.
It's a long time
building
ago.
trust. She figured she could build enough trust that she could lie to you and you would still trust her. I don't know. I was incredulous just an hour and a half ago. Jennifer said they only sell at MSRP. That's it. I asked if she confirmed that was the deal on the last hybrid in stock. I would say she looked resolute. Well, okay, I guess. I said, I'll talk it over with my husband and shoot you a text. She thanked me for coming in and said she also brought me a credit card authorization form. She suggested that if I decide to move forward, I could fill this out and put up to $5,000 on a credit card to begin the process.
They're really pushing that Toyota credit card. It's available to all Toyota, Lexus dealers, and you get a $5,000 limit, and you could use it as a down payment.
Yeah. So there you have it. A Lexus dealer, which we don't shop many Lexus dealers. I also usually praise Lexus dealers because the manufacturer has more involvement with Lexus dealers than any other manufacturer that I know of, and they use moral suasion to have people lower the fees. Now,
incidentally, on their addendum, those the door cup holders and the door edge guards, I priced those out on Amazon. You can get both of those for $25. You don't have to spend $1,000 to get those. You can order them, have them tomorrow on Prime.
I'm glad you did that. Yeah, it's just you can just go to. You won't be able to see this very well, but these are pictures of the junk fees and the dealer installed accessories that they use to jack the price up. So you're talking, 1,000% markup, 800, 500% markup, and that's what they're doing there at Treasure Coast Lexus.
All right, well, Bob says a C for Treasure Coast Lexus. It would have been a B if they had included restrooms on the tour. That's the only grade I have in so far, so I'm just going to jump in with mine real quick because we're running out of time. They got to go lower than a C for me because it's a Lexus dealership. I think luxury brands have a different curve, and so this is the worst Lexus shopping report I think we ever had. So I'm going to give them a D.
Yeah.
Okay, Rick.
Okay, I got Doug Tesler says Ella says meow a F for fail. Negan1 says D for dealer installed junk. T-Cash says D for a pointless dealership tour. Just give me your out-the-door price, and don't give Earl crap for giving out your cell number. Sandy should be grateful. Joseph Kelleher, D, junk fees are a turnoff.
This week.
Over here, I've got Tom Steckel says C. Luxury car dealers don't need to sink into the abyss with addendums and fees. Could get the same car at JM Lexus at a much lower cost. Scott H. Sr. D. Don't care for the add-ons. Brian Sedlatko, too many addendums. C+. Johnny Z. Fradley, grab your treasure chest for Treasure Coast Lexus add-ons and no MSRP discount. D. Mark Smith, I'll give the Lexus dealership a C. Myself, I say C.
Okay, Earl?
I'm going to go C minus.
Okay, we're going to make this fast and painless F from me. Okay, I think it would really be, and I believe we have a couple of seconds left to talk about autonomous, and Earl wrote a column, and finally, autonomous.
Driving is here.
Autonomous driving is here.
Is that how you got here this morning?
And
Yeah.
yes, and
Everywhere we go, we're on autonomous now. Nancy, in fact, Nancy did some with the Tesla camera automated parking. Very cool.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it just
You guys are
takes
like,
the fear out of it.
No,
Yeah.
you guys are like forerunners, pioneers here with this. I mean, seriously, I think obviously it's not available to everybody yet, but you're really dipping your feet in the beginning of something, and I think other seniors, I mean, should hear about this and realize
absolutely.
that it's something working for you.
Not only seniors, but it's very telling
Drunks.
that I'm on the.
Seniors and drunks.
There you go. I was just
sorry.
took the words out of my mouth.
Kidding.
Anyway,
Sorry,
it's very telling, and the reason I say it's very telling is from in the very beginning, I really wasn't on board with autonomous driving, and it's been improved by leaps and bounds, and also on the road that we've been on, I've noticed more lady drivers. And there's a whole lot to learn about autonomous, right, Earl?
Yeah, you've got 8 cameras outside the car. Those 8 cameras can see higher up. They can see much more than you can see, and they do it simultaneously. And while these cameras are also measuring the speed of the traffic. And what I finally, when I realized that Tesla's actually driving better than I do, and better than Nancy does, it can get you there quicker and safer. They actually, think about it. You're in heavy traffic, and you have a car close behind you. You have cars on either side of you. You have a stoplight up ahead of you. And how long does it take you to turn your head, which is dangerous, look at the rearview mirror, the side view mirror, and a human being is very slow. That autonomous car simultaneously sees 360 degrees, and they know exactly what to do. Because at first it scared us, but we realized, why did they do that? And we started thinking, why didn't we call the Tesla Miss Nancy? Why did Miss Nancy move into the other lane? And we realized that she saw traffic up ahead of us down the road that we didn't see and we couldn't see.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And our reflexes, they lessen as we get older. I'm not talking about 80-year-olds. Let's go back to...
I just threw a water bottle at Nancy.
Let's go back to being 50 years old, because there's so many distractions on the road. And I even experimented with Tesla Vision. Yes, Rick?
Imagine when the day comes when all the cars are talking to each other electronically, and they all know what they're each going to do, and there are no more accidents.
That's exactly
what's really
that day's coming.
Exactly. Yes. What's really telling is if you are old enough to remember, which Earl and I do, back to the Jetsons, and I'm Betty, and I think he's George, and
I'm Elroy. I'm Elroy.
Yeah, are you? Anyway.
Was robot. Rosie was the robot.
I love her, the robot. So you're distracting.
Sorry.
At any rate, my point here is they were talking about, in 1962, they were talking about 2063. Was that what I
Yeah,
quoted to
yeah,
you?
yeah.
But what is amazing is to learn another feature on autonomous, and that is, and Earl does it much better than I do. I need more practice, and that is the Tesla Vision, right?
Yeah, and if they back into the marketplace, so you're always pointed out.
I love it.
I think the only
That's
thing
great at the dealership, you know.
Yeah,
back in everywhere.
that's where I want to go. But like I said, it's very telling. So from the very beginning, I wasn't really on board with this. But then again, I'm a control freak. By overcoming that, I keep my fingers on the yoke, and I am letting her know that at any time I can take over. And I
The
think
yoke is a steering wheel on the Plaid. It's like a airplane steering wheel.
Yeah.
Because you're flying in that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I think we're out of time. I'm talking so fast. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us this morning. We have 1 minute left. We'll be right back here next week at 8 a.m.